Welcome back to Hidden Coins USA. Stop scrolling. Seriously. Because what happened today was something I did not expect. I went looking for old coins. Not rare coins. Not valuable coins. Just old coins. The kind most people ignore. The kind most people throw into jars. The kind most people spend without a second thought. But then something happened. 3 Roosevelt Dimes appeared. 3 ordinary-looking dimes. 3 dirty-looking dimes. 3 coins that almost nobody would look at twice. And yet, the deeper I looked, the stranger the story became. Now I need you to stay with me. Because the first coin shocked me. The second coin surprised me. But the third coin completely changed the way I looked at old dimes. So do not skip. Do not jump ahead. Because every detail matters. And what you are about to see might make you check every dime in your house tonight. Let's begin. Right here. In these hands, a 1998 Roosevelt Dime. At first glance, nothing special. Just a dime. Just 10 cents. Just another coin from everyday American life. Or is it? Look closer. Really closer. Notice the surface. Notice the age. Notice the color. This coin is not bright. It is not shiny. It is not perfect. It looks tired. It looks forgotten. It looks like a coin that has spent years traveling through pockets, cash registers, vending machines, and old coin jars. Most people would stop right there. Most people would never look again. But collectors think differently. Collectors ask questions. Questions like, where has this coin been? How long has it survived? What details are hiding in plain sight? And that is exactly where the mystery begins. Because every coin has 2 stories. The story everyone sees, and the story almost nobody notices. The first story is simple. A 1998 Roosevelt Dime, Philadelphia Mint. Millions were made. Millions entered circulation. Millions were spent. End of story. Or so it seems. But then comes the second story. The story collectors care about. The story hidden beneath the surface. The story that starts with one simple question. What if this coin is different? What if this coin survived in an unusual condition? What if it carries details most people never notice? What if it has something that separates it from millions of others? Now imagine this. The year is 1998. This dime leaves the mint, fresh, brilliant, untouched. It enters circulation and begins a journey across America. Maybe New York, maybe Texas, maybe California, maybe somewhere in a small town nobody remembers. Thousands of transactions, thousands of hands. Years pass, then more years. Then decades, and somehow, this coin survives, not melted, not destroyed, not lost forever. Still here, still telling a story. Now look at Roosevelt's portrait. Notice the details. Notice the design. Notice how much history can fit into something so small. This is what fascinates collectors. Not just value, not just rarity, history, mystery, the thrill of discovery. Because every collector remembers the moment they found something unexpected. The moment a common coin became interesting, the moment curiosity took over. And that feeling never goes away. Now here is where things become more interesting. Because some collectors spend years searching through circulation coins. Not because every coin is valuable, but because every coin has potential. Potential creates excitement. Potential creates curiosity. Potential keeps people searching. That is why old coin jars matter. That is why inherited collections matter. That is why people still search through pocket change. Because discoveries still happen. And when they happen when nobody expects them. Now take another look at this dime. The surface is worn. The color is darker than when it left the mint. The details show age. But age is not the enemy. Age is the story. Age is the evidence. Age is the reason collectors stop and look closer. Because every mark means something. Every scratch means something. Every sign of wear means this coin has lived a real life. And that makes it fascinating. Now let me ask you something. How many dimes have passed through your hands this year? 10? 100? 1,000? How many did you actually inspect? How many did you actually study? How many did you actually remember? Probably none. And that is exactly why coin collecting is so interesting. Because hidden discoveries often sit right in front of us. Invisible. Not because they are impossible to see, but because nobody is paying attention. And attention changes everything. Now keep your eyes on this coin, because we are only getting started. The deeper we go, the more interesting the story becomes. And trust me, the next discovery is where things begin to get really surprising. Because what I found after this was something I never expected to see. And it completely changed the direction of this hunt. Because after finding that 1998 Roosevelt Dime, I thought I already had the most interesting coin of the day. I was wrong. Very wrong. Because the next coin was waiting. Silent. Hidden. Almost invisible among a pile of ordinary change. And if I had looked away for just 1 second, I might have missed it completely. Right here. In these hands. A 1986 Roosevelt Dime. At first glance, nothing special. Just another dime. Just another 10-cent coin. Just another piece of pocket change. But by now, you already know better. Because the most interesting coins rarely announce themselves. They hide. They wait. They blend in. And that is exactly what this coin was doing. Now look closely. The first thing I noticed was the color. Not bright silver. Not fresh mint luster. Not flashy. Instead, a darker appearance. A tired appearance. A coin that looked like it had spent decades surviving real life. Most people would ignore that. Collectors do the opposite. Collectors become curious. Because curiosity is where discoveries begin. Now imagine this coin leaving the Philadelphia Mint in 1986. Brand new. Sharp details. Fresh surfaces. Perfectly struck. Then entering circulation. Crossing cities. Crossing states. Crossing decades. Through stores. Through restaurants. Through vending machines. Through countless hands. Thousands of transactions. Thousands of stories. And somehow, still here today. That alone is fascinating. Because every year old coins disappear. Some are damaged. Some are lost. Some are forgotten forever. But a few survive. And survivors always have stories. Now look at Roosevelt. Notice the portrait. Notice the details that remain, even after years of circulation. Even after decades of use. The design still speaks. The history still remains. And that is what collectors love. Not perfection. History. A connection to another time. A connection to another generation. Now here is where things became interesting for me. The more I looked at this coin, the more questions appeared. Questions always create excitement, because every collector knows one truth. The moment you stop asking questions, the hunt is over. And this hunt was far from over. I turned the coin under the light. Again, and again, and again. Every angle revealed something different. Every reflection told a different story. Was it rare? Was it unusual? Was it simply old? Or was there something more? That uncertainty is powerful. That uncertainty is why people watch coin videos. That uncertainty is why people search through change. Because nobody wants to miss the coin everyone else overlooked. Now think about how many dimes were produced in 1986. Millions. An enormous number. Yet how many survive in interesting condition today? How many have been preserved? How many still catch attention? Far fewer than you might think. Because time changes everything. Time removes details. Time damages surfaces. Time creates rarity in unexpected ways. And that is why collectors study old coins so carefully. Not because every coin is valuable, but because every coin has potential. Potential keeps the hunt alive. Now imagine finding a forgotten coin jar. Dust everywhere. Years of neglect. You start sorting through the coins, pennies, nickels, quarters. Then suddenly, a Roosevelt dime appears. Most people keep moving. Collectors stop. Collectors inspect. Collectors wonder. Because every discovery starts with one simple decision, to look closer. Now look at this 1986 dime again. The darker tone. The worn surfaces. The evidence of decades in circulation. This is not a coin that sat untouched in a vault. This is a coin that lived. A coin that traveled. A coin that survived. And survival creates stories. Stories create interest. Interest creates collectors. And collectors create demand. That is why old coins continue to fascinate people year after year. Because every coin feels like a mystery waiting to be solved. Now let me ask you something. How many Roosevelt dimes have passed through your hands? Hundreds? Thousands? Maybe more. How many did you actually examine? How many did you actually remember? Probably very few. And that is exactly why hidden discoveries still happen. Because most people are moving too fast. Most people never stop to look. Most people never notice the details. But the details are everything. The details separate ordinary from interesting. The details separate forgotten from remembered. The details separate spending from collecting. Now keep watching. Because at this point in the hunt, I thought things could not get more interesting. I thought I had already seen the best coin of the day. But I was wrong again. Because what came next was older, more mysterious. And somehow even more fascinating. A dime that had survived since the early 1970s. A dime with a story stretching back more than half a century. And the moment I saw it, I knew the hunt was about to reach a completely different level. And trust me, you do not want to miss what happened next. Because at this point, the hunt should have been over. The 1998 P. Roosevelt Dime was already interesting. The 1986 P. Roosevelt Dime had already raised questions. I thought the story was complete. I thought the surprises were finished. I thought there was nothing left to find. But then, everything changed. Because buried beneath the other coins, almost hidden from view, was a dime that immediately caught my attention. A dime that looked older. A dime that looked darker. A dime that looked like it had been carrying secrets for decades. Right here, in these hands, the final coin of today's hunt. A 1972 Roosevelt Dime. And the moment I picked it up, I knew this coin was different. Not because it was shining. Not because it looked perfect. Not because it appeared valuable. Actually, it was the opposite. It looked worn. It looked dirty. It looked forgotten. The exact kind of coin most people spend without a second thought. The exact kind of coin people leave in cup holders. The exact kind of coin people toss into jars. But collectors know something important. Sometimes the most ordinary-looking coins tell the most extraordinary stories. And this story begins more than 50 years ago. Think about that. More than half a century. Before smartphones. Before social media. Before the internet connected the world. Back when America looked very different. Back when this dime first entered circulation. Imagine that moment. Fresh from the mint. Sharp details. Brilliant surfaces. Brand new. Ready to begin its journey. Nobody knew where it would go. Nobody knew whose hands would hold it. Nobody knew how long it would survive. Yet somehow, after all these years, it is still here, still existing, still carrying its story, still waiting for someone to notice it. Now look closely, really closely. Notice Roosevelt's portrait. Notice the remaining details. Notice the evidence of time. Every mark tells a story. Every scratch tells a story. Every sign of wear tells a story. Because this coin was not sitting safely inside a vault. This coin lived in the real world. And that makes it fascinating. Now imagine all the places it may have traveled. A grocery store in Texas. A gas station in Arizona. A diner in Ohio. A bank in Florida. A cash register in California. Nobody knows. That mystery is part of the excitement. Because every old coin is a traveler. Every old coin is a survivor. Every old coin is a witness to history. Now here is where things become interesting. Most people believe rarity is obvious. Most people think valuable coins should immediately stand out. But experienced collectors know better. Real discoveries often hide behind ordinary appearances. That is why collectors study coins. That is why collectors use magnifiers. That is why collectors examine dates, mint marks, strike quality, surface condition, and tiny details most people never notice. Because sometimes, the smallest detail changes everything. Now think about how many Roosevelt dimes have existed. Billions, an unbelievable number. Yet collectors still search for them every day. Why? Because the hunt never ends. Because possibility never disappears. Because every coin creates a question. And questions create curiosity. Curiosity creates retention. Retention creates obsession. And obsession creates collectors. That is why people spend hours searching through old change. Not because they expect every coin to be rare, but because one coin might be. One coin might surprise them. One coin might reveal something special. And that possibility keeps the hunt alive. Now imagine opening an old family collection. Boxes everywhere. Dust covering everything. Coins untouched for decades. You begin sorting. Pennies, nickels, quarters, dimes. Then suddenly, a 1972 Roosevelt dime appears. Would you notice it? Would you stop? Would you look closer? Or would you move on? That decision matters. Because discoveries belong to people who pay attention, not to people who rush, not to people who assume, not to people who ignore details. Now look again at this dime. Notice how time has changed it. Notice how age has shaped it. Notice how history has preserved it. This coin has survived economic changes, technological revolutions, political changes, generational changes, and through all of it, it remained. Still existing, still circulating, still telling its story. That alone is remarkable. But the story gets even better. Because collectors do not simply see metal. Collectors see possibilities. Collectors see mysteries. Collectors see unanswered questions. And unanswered questions are powerful. Because they keep people watching. They keep people searching. They keep people interested. Now let me ask you something. What if the next coin you find is the one everyone else ignored? What if the next coin in your pocket has a story nobody noticed? What if the next discovery is already sitting in your home? That possibility is why this channel exists. That possibility is why coin hunting continues. That possibility is why millions of collectors never stop searching. Because somewhere, in a drawer, in a jar, in a collection, in a forgotten box, another story is waiting, another mystery is waiting, another discovery is waiting. And the next person to find it could be you. Today we found 3 Roosevelt Dimes, 3 ordinary-looking coins, 3 different years, 3 different journeys, but one shared truth. Never underestimate an old coin. Never underestimate history. And never underestimate what might be hiding in plain sight. Because sometimes, the greatest discoveries begin with a coin nobody wanted to keep. And sometimes, a simple dime becomes the start of an unforgettable story.